And now, Everfree Radio presents Stay Brony, my friends, with DustyKatt.
Hello all! Welcome to Fantasy Island. I'm Mr. Rourke, your host. It's another Monday. Thank you for joining me. And I have some very, very special guests with me tonight. I'd like to introduce Michael Brockhoff. Brockhoff, right?
Yes.
Yes. Michael Brockhoff, who is a producer, and he's producing the BronyCon the documentary. Along with him is Laurent Malaquais. Mr. Malaquais is going to be the director of this fine production, but he has many, many more talents, and we'll be getting into that just a little bit later tonight. So, gentlemen, how are you doing this evening?
Great. Thank you for having us on.
Oh,
Thanks
awesome.
for having us.
Awesome. How was your day down there in LA today?
My day is great. I mean, I'm by the beach, so it's always great.
Oh, it's always great by the beach.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Doing well. Everything's been great today. Good
Cool.
day.
Getting tan out there by the pool there, Mike?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Living the LA lifestyle of a film producer. Cool. Yeah, so we're going to get right into the meat and some questions here. Now, this isn't the only documentary you guys have ever done. Doing a little research, right? What kind of documentaries are you guys usually doing? This kind of on a certain group of people or a certain thing? What kind of documentaries have you guys done?
Well, this is Mike. My experience goes back 20 plus years.
Mm-hmm.
I've done everything from reality shows to documentaries, a little bit of everything. One of the interesting things I did a couple years back, actually, John Delancie and I produced a documentary together called Return to Area 51.
Oh, okay.
It's a lot of fun, a Discovery Channel documentary.
Nice. I think I might have caught that one. How about you, Laurent?
Yeah, I've actually, Mike and I met at a production company back in '99, and it was a company that did a lot of reality-based programming and documentaries geared towards Discovery and TLC.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, we worked on a lot of that. We worked on a lot of different shows together and documentaries. And most recently, I've gotten more into independent documentaries, that follow a personal story. So, a couple of years ago, I just did a documentary about a group of artists in Africa that were protesting a corrupt museum that was holding their artwork hostage.
Wow.
And they staged, this is in Cameroon, in West Africa, they staged this huge procession in the middle of the night and burned all their artwork. Ooh. And that sort of was a life-changing moment for me when I started realizing that, there are some really powerful stories out there, and people need a voice, and people want to share their stories with the world. And so from there, it sort of started. It pushed me into more of the independent documentary world, where you're not making a documentary for a network as much as you are for the human story. You want to find the truth and the resonance in the story and the people. Yeah. So, and then from then on, I made this other one called Men From Nowhere, which is it's a documentary that I did. It's a Holocaust documentary that I did about my relationship with my father, and that one I finished a year ago, and then now I thought it was done, but now I think I'm actually doing another re-edit before I release it to the world. I want to. It's like. But I've been working on that one for like 6 years.
When it's really your personal project, man. It's like I'm the same way with some music I do. I think I worked like 4 months on one song.
Right.
Just because it's edited.
Yeah, it's that whole thing, like you put your heart into something and you're like, am I being as honest as I can? And it's just really am I really, at the truth of the matter? If I pulled that string, far enough to get to the core of it, and so that's always, but that's kind of the journey of an artist. You're always, in self-doubt, am I there yet? Have I reached it? Have I attained it? Have I gone too far? Which often is the case. But I mean, they say, great films are never complete. They're just, at some point, they're abandoned, or in this case, taken away by the producer.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Mike.
No,
I get into this. That goes into my next question.
That's the classic story.
Yeah, the classic story.
The great filmmakers to the biggest to the smallest filmmakers. It's like
that's like what happened on. I read Steve McQueen's autobiography, and he said what happened on Le Mans was that the producers took over. It wasn't the movie he really wanted to make. So basically, when he was sending dailies back, that they basically changed a bunch of stuff on him. It wasn't the film he really wanted to make. It was a great film, but it wasn't his exact true, his vision, as it were.
Yeah, I mean, same thing happened on Blade Runner. It's like the director's cut of Blade Runner. It's like at the end of the film, that the two get into the elevator and the door's shut, and that's it. There's no narration. You don't know what's going to happen to these characters. It's another bleak existence, and they just go down in this dark chasm of an elevator, where the studio stepped in and said, no, we want the narration. We want Harrison Ford to warm it up in the beginning and explain to us what's going on, and really establish him as a hero. And in the end, of course, they fly into the sunset,
right?
Which is a completely different film. So,
it sure is.
But that said, I think it's a much better film with a more uplifting ending. So.
Here's a question. You both have been making films for a long time. I checked out your IMDb's, and started in 95 or 99. It's been a while. What is your favorite part of filmmaking? What's your favorite part? What do you like to do?
For me, my favorite part is discovering something in the moment. It's it's that ecstatic truth when you find something in a person or a character or a setting that opens your eyes the first time. It's live. You're like, oh my God, I didn't realize this. I didn't see this. And it's basically, it's an awakening. You come at something with an agenda. Like, how am I going to capture this, and what does this mean? And you have this plan, and then you get there, and then you start seeing, wow, yeah, while everything that I planned to do is there, and I see that, there's this greater truth that's revealed itself to you. And that's sort of the whole thing, is finding that crack in the veneer of a human being, and capturing that intimate moment that, where you, the audience, and you're watching moments, you feel embarrassed, like, God, I've intruded a little bit too far on this person.
That piece that sucks you in and makes you feel.
Right. It's that, it's capturing that private moment in a human being's life that we can all relate to when you drop your guard, when you're just, it's sort of like when you don't think anybody's around,
right?
And that's the thing that, that's what tugs at your heart, really. You feel that you get beyond, the ego and the facades that we put up in everyday life just to survive. We have to have an image.
As Billy Joel once sang, "The stranger, you need to get past it." The masks everybody wears. What about you, Mike?
I love doing, it's just the business that we're in. You learn a lot about a subject in a short amount of time. And so, for instance, 2 months ago, I had no idea what a brony was. And now, I'm getting up to speed. I've learned a lot. And that's always fun to just take, every time there's a new documentary, it's like, or a new show, you're just learning a ton of stuff about something new. And so, through a lifetime, you know a lot about, or a little, or a lot about a lot of things. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of cool. I think the bronies themselves, we ourselves, are still learning what a brony is, because the fandom is so young yet. It's only a few years old. It's not like sci-fi that's 30 years old. It's not like some of these other fandoms that have been around for 10, 15 years that sort of they know what they are. But brony is still basically trying to coalesce and become what it is. I mean, some people do this, some people do that, but it just depends on where it goes. How long the show goes. Let's see. How's the funding going, by the way? I heard you guys hit a huge milestone today, didn't you?
Yeah, awesome. We're well over 200,000 now which is amazing considering we started this thing looking for 60,000.
Mm-hmm.
And there were people, including myself, were like, okay, I wonder if it's going to get to 60,000. But we're at, right now, and we'll monitor it through the show here,
Yes.
but we're at 208,409.
Ooh, nice.
That is the Kickstarter amount. We're also open to pledges on PayPal, which is not monitored in that total. We're
Mm-hmm.
about 13 or 14,000. I haven't done an update in about 24 hours, but there. So it brings us to over 220,000.
That is awesome.
Which is amazing. And we did set a new goal today.
Mm-hmm.
We've set a goal of 270,000.
Okay.
And if we reach that goal, we're actually going to add some stuff to what we're going to include into the documentary, and that's a trip to the Galacon convention in Germany.
Ooh.
And the Buck convention in England.
Ooh, I want to hitchhike on that trip. That'd be awesome.
We want to bring the documentary to Europe. That's what we're trying to do.
That is awesomely cool. And I'm sort of jealous of Europe because they get the blind bags before we do. I mean, they're already up to 4. They've already got Series 4. We aren't even through Series 2 yet. So I'm jealous. I'm jealous of Europe for getting all the good stuff first. Okay. Other than Galacon and Buck, are you planning on going to any other conventions, say Candlelight Gardens or Everfree Northwest or any of these other U.S.-based conventions for your film?
It's something that's certainly been discussed, and right now what we're doing is we're kind of we've been going through a series of meetings where we are talking about what are the conventions that we're going to cover, what are the individual personal stories, backstories where we want to go to people's homes and kind of see what their lives are like, and so we're kind of in the middle of making all those decisions. Obviously a lot of that's tied to money.
Mm-hmm.
So
Always is.
The Kickstarter campaign will be over in 5 more days, and we'll have a better better
grasp,
idea
yeah.
at that point of exactly where we are, and we can start budgeting those things out and getting very specific.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Do you have... I know you guys have been talking to a lot of people. Is there anybody from the overall picture of Brony that you've actually nailed down who are going to be in the film?
There are some people, but I don't really want to. The only ones that we're going to reveal at this point are because I just don't. I want some of this to be a surprise.
Okay.
So, but definitely Tara
Mm-hmm.
Strong is part of the documentary, and
Yeah.
she'll include an exclusive interview with her.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Lauren Faust will be part of it, and John Delancie will be
Mm-hmm.
part of it. Lauren Faust is amazing. We've sat with her.
Oh, yeah.
And she's explained to us just the creation of My Little Pony and
Mm-hmm.
all that went into it. And she is, you could sit there and listen to her for hours. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It was very purposeful. There's nothing about that world that wasn't planned.
Yeah, from what I hear, I haven't actually talked to the woman. I haven't actually seen one, but I hear she's a huge, huge storyteller. She loves to tell stories. And it sounds like that's what she did with this. She sat down and basically wrote a world that she could basically tell stories in. So, and once
it's something that she's had. She essentially created this when she was 8 years old, playing with her little My Little Pony toys in her bedroom,
Mm-hmm.
and had created her own stories in her own world and everything. And then as she grew up, she got the chance to actually to make that a reality.
And that's awesome. I mean, we've all created worlds in our heads when we were kids, and being able to bring it to life, I just can't imagine the joy that she has watching her imagination come to life. It's weird. Speaking of Tara and Lauren and John, are they going to be doing more than just interviews? Are they going to be doing like a narration of the film or anything else within the film?
Lauren, I'll let you take that.
Well, right now I'm shaping the film in such a way where it's not going to be narrated, but
Okay.
that's not to say that they won't be narrated, but they will all three have a very strong presence in the film.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, by the end of the film, you'll have a very good idea and understanding of who they are and how they brought their creativity and that came to shape the show.
Mm-hmm.
So they will especially with Lauren. I mean, I really want to get into Lauren's world because I mean she is I keep talking about Blade Runner. I mean, it's to me, Lauren Faust is like, Tyrell. You get to meet the god of the world,
Right.
It's like she is. I mean, it's sitting there in her presence is as Mike said, is amazing because, we came at it like, first Mike and I were on Melrose Avenue and there was an art show there and Tara was there. That's before we ever even met her. So we were in line with the fans. And I mean, it was amazing. The line went around the block.
Yeah, I was working that day and I couldn't make it and I'm so upset. Oh, man.
Well, trust me, we didn't have a fighting chance of even getting anywhere near the doors.
Wow.
I mean, like we saw Tara like drive away, in this car and wave at everybody. And the funny thing is she was filming the fans filming her.
Yeah.
So it was like, and then, to go from that and then eventually we meet her, and it was like, oh my God, if you were there, I would have, I would have totally brought you in. But it was more interesting, I mean, to me, honestly, to have seen it from the Bronies' point of view, and their enthusiasm, being in line with them. And it was just like, everyone was just so happy and positive to be there. There was like not a negative vibe in the midst, and it was just like, just being there just felt kind of inspirational, and it was bizarre because you're on Melrose Avenue, which is like, very Hollywood, sort of materialistic, and kind of about beauty and and wealth and blah 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 and status. But within that line of Bronies, none of that mattered. It was like, are you having a good time and are you passionate and happy to be here? That's all that mattered. I mean, which was like the great equalizer. It didn't really, it's this insulary bubble, and it was just beautiful to be standing there and go, God, we're kind of a part of this, and we're gonna be a part of this.
You're gonna be a part of it.
Yeah.
Be careful what you wish for. You might just get it.
Yeah. No. But it's really been like, because being working in Hollywood and being a filmmaker and being people of integrity and trying to do things that inspire us, and it can be challenging. This town is a little bit ruthless. It's tough.
From what I've heard,
to be around the Brony vibe, that's very much like, no, we're not gonna, we're not embracing that kind of thinking. We're going to be positive and keep moving. It's been really inspirational. And then to go from there to meeting Lauren, to meeting Tara which was like incredible as well. And then Lauren, who's like lays out how she made this whole thing. It's just, I don't know. It's, she really gave birth to something that's amazing. I don't know how else. I mean, and through the medium in which she chose to do it, this cartoon that's geared at little girls, that actually like almost misses the target and meets this other audience.
It almost does. I mean,
beautiful.
a lot of people will, a lot of people give me heck, if you want to call it that, on my videos on YouTube, and it's funny that somebody will come in and say something bad to me. I mean, really, really bad, and for no reason whatsoever, then just basically say it and try to get me angry. Right. And why? I mean, why did you take 10 seconds out of your day to say something hateful on a video you didn't want to watch in the first place?
Well, they just want to find out if you're really going to love and tolerate the shit out of them.
Well, that's the point. And I do. And if they say something really funny, I'll turn it around and make it a funny joke and ban them anyway. But I'll leave it up there so they can look like stupid idiots. But but it's one of those things where I still don't understand. Everyone's trying to have a good time, and if you don't take if you don't take responsibility for your own happiness and go do something that you like instead of being angry all the time, I've got no pity for you. None.
Right. Well, I mean, that's like indicative of any sort of movement that's definitely geared towards positivity. I mean,
right.
I mean, I hate to make this comparison because it's a little bit weird, but I mean, if you look at the Dalai Lama, I mean, the Chinese came and stepped in on Tibet because they weren't willing to fight back. They're about love and tolerance themselves and compassion, and they and at the end now, I mean, it's like, look at the Dalai Lama. I mean, these people, half the world looks up to this guy, whether you believe in it or not. You realize that here's a person that's tolerated and loved his enemy and has spent his entire life and shaped a religion around trying to understand the hatred that another person has for another human being. It's just amazing, I mean, it has a lot of this. I mean, I was telling Lauren this. I feel like there's some parallels there. Love and tolerance and compassion. It's a beautiful thing.
It is.
But of course, I'm from Berkeley, so up the road from you. So I'm a little hippie.
Yep. Well, I grew up in Michigan, so I grew up in Michigan, moved out here. It's I have a lot of that Midwestern, bear down, tighten your belt, and get it done.
Right.
So but still being honest with everybody and giving everybody their fair shake.
Right.
So that's sort of how I was raised.
Right.
Now, you guys have worked with a lot of different actors and people. Tell us a little bit about. I know one of you worked with him on Breaking Bad. Was that Mike or you?
No.
No. I must have read it in IMDb wrong.
He worked on Breaking Bad, but I didn't work with him on
Oh, you didn't work with him?
Mike actually has a much more extensive history working with John than I do. I mean, I did a little project with him like a few years ago on IMDb. So I've been in contact with. I mean, we've run into each other and talked over the years. But this is the first project that really came
What's
together.
it like? What's he like to work with? I mean, everybody knows him as Q. Everybody knows him as Discord, which is more of the little, jokester. Q was much of like a jokester. Is that he's really like that in real life, or is he more like a serious guy? I mean, is he more?
I first did something with John back in 1996, and I just love him because he's actually has just a very dry sense of humor, and is just a lot of fun. A lot of fun to get along with. And has great stories, obviously, over the years, with everything that he's done. And he's just a really good guy. Not a lot of BS with him.
Yeah, it seems like that in some of the interviews he's done. It's like he's really straight and to the point. If he has something he wants to say, he says it.
Yeah. I mean, he's wicked smart, and he's very compassionate for the underdog. I mean, he's truly that kind of guy.
Cool.
And he's just not, what you would kind of expect out of your typical Hollywood, and neither are we. So I think that's why we get along well.
Yeah, that's awesome. Hey, you guys have been brought into this Brony phenomenon, which is cartoon. This cartoon with this great, huge following. But you're older, like I am. What kind of cartoons did you grow up on? What was your, what was your favorite cartoons when you were younger?
I personally, this is Mike. I actually didn't really watch cartoons. Yeah, believe it or not. So I'll let Lauren take the question.
Oh, I love cartoons. I love Bugs Bunny. I mean, the ones that I love them all, basically. I love Bugs Bunny. What's the other really one that I loved? I loved Ren and Stimpy. I love, when I was a kid, the thing that really affected me the most, I think, was Heavy Metal. Did you ever see that? Oh
my goodness. I've got 4 different copies of it.
That thing, I remember seeing that as sneaking into the theater as a young kid. And I mean, I remember that, really being the first, I mean, because you're watching cartoons, whatever, all the Warner Brothers cartoons.
Right.
But that was the one that actually went, holy, I mean, it was
sort of
animation could actually really tell a story.
A really good story. It's like
it can be edgy, it can be dark, it could be mind blowing. I mean, it was everything. I mean, that really blew the doors open for me. Sort of the
precursor to MTV's Liquid Television.
Right.
Where you've got Anon Flux and some of the other hard, edgy stuff that they would show after midnight. I
mean, I love Beavis and Butthead. I love South Park.
Yeah. I grew up in the '70s, being sat down on Saturday nights watching Wide World of Disney. So it was always Donald Duck and Math Magic Land, or Donald Duck versus Chip and Dale, and then Disney's Robin Hood, and then getting into the '70s. They actually brought over the animation from Japan. They had Kim of the White Lion, and they had Speed Racer, and they had all of those. And that's really.
I wasn't a big Speed Racer. I don't think I got it. I mean, I would watch him, but I just
They cut it weirdly. They really cut it so you couldn't actually follow a story. I mean, there was enough. There was so much violence in those coming over that they had to cut all the violence out, and they had to work with what they had left. Sometimes they had 10 minutes of animation left after the violence was gone. But yeah, I really wish they hadn't done that. But back in
the other one I didn't get the point of was the Roadrunner. I mean, that's I mean, that just seemed like I don't know. It's just a perpetual hell. Can he ever win?
No, he never won, and that was the point. It's okay, how many different ways can we have the Coyote lose at his own hand? Yeah. And Chuck Jones actually said that when they were doing those. I read an autobiography with Chuck Jones, and he said that when they were doing those animations, the Coyote had to lose of his own fruition. He could not. That the bird couldn't do anything to him. He just had to lose because he was an idiot or Acme or something. But he couldn't. The bird couldn't go back. Couldn't retaliate. And it went on forever and ever and ever. They just come up with these great ideas.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I saw this joke on Facebook this friend of mine put up there. It was like, you know, the day that the coyote wins, he's like in therapy, doesn't know what to do with his life anymore.
Acme goes out of business.
Dying. I was laughing for I mean, I was like, he nailed it. He's a comedy writer.
Acme goes out of business.
Yeah, I was like, what does he do? He's got major anxiety now. I win. Wait, I'm not supposed to win.
Hey, you guys, now that you've kicked up the Kickstarter fund, are there any new awesome prizes that people can go after? You know, for different levels of support.
Yeah, there's a bunch that Mike put up there.
Yeah, we added some things here once Tara and Lauren joined us as executive producers on the project. So, whereas before we had just a $50 you could get a Blu-ray disc sent to you, we added a $75 level where you could get a bonus disc that's going to include some extended interviews with Tara, Lauren, and John. And these are some interviews you want to see.
Oh, absolutely.
They're really good. And we did add a $250 level where you can have your Blu-ray and an art print signed by Tara, Lauren, and John, all three of them. We added a Q&A, kind of a little bit of a private Q&A and signing session for $500. That's going to be held at BronyCon. And then for those with some little bit more money, $1,000, you can have Tara or John record your personal voicemail message. You send us the text, and they will record it, and we'll send you the file.
Wow.
So that's pretty cool. And then we have the here's one that's been very popular. $3,000. Lauren Faust will draw your original work of art for you based upon your pony original character. So she certainly had work sell for a lot more than $3,000. Wow. So that is definitely a nice bonus. And then we go all the way up. We have a $10,000 level.
Yeah, you've had like what, 4 people?
There's
hit
4 people who signed up. They and a guest get to have a private dinner with us and with Tara and Lauren and John. I'm sure they're not going to care about us, which is fine.
If I had a used car to sell, I'd be there. I would.
It is going to be quite the dinner, I'm sure.
Wow,
it's
amazing.
These guys are certainly entertaining. They are entertainers. They're actors, and they're fun to hang out with.
Tara is. I think Tara is more being a voice actress for so long, and now finally getting the props she deserves out in the public. I think she's just basically just relishing all of this, especially on Twitter, because she's such a troll on Twitter. She comes up with the greatest stuff.
She's fun, and she knows everything about the fandom. She is a wealth of knowledge.
Absolutely. So we are at 28 minutes into the show. I need to run my commercial right now. Okay. So we're going to run the commercial, and when we come back, we're going to bring a Screwball into the chat, and you out there in live stream land will be able to ask questions of these two wonderful gentlemen just as soon as we return after this commercial message. It's harvest season here at Sweet Apple Acres, and the You Pick Apple adventures have begun. You can make the most of this opportunity by getting a bushel full of the plumpest, juiciest apples this side of the Everfree forest. Whether for a homemade apple pie, delicious apple fritters, or fresh off the tree, it all begins with a visit to Sweet Apple Acres Apple Orchard. Go visit with the Apple family, a short trot southwest of Ponyville. Applejack.
Well, how'd it do?
Granny Smith. Apple Bloom.
I want it now!
And Big Macintosh.
Yep.
Will treat you like one of the family. Fresh apple cider? Try our 10 varieties. Apple pies and dumplings? Mouth watering. Sweet, red, delicious apples? They got them. Tart Granny Smith apples? You'll find them there too. No ladders needed. Just rear up and pluck you some of the sweet apple goodness that graces the plates of our princesses Celestia and Luna. And remember, our apple stand can be found at the corner of Appleton Road, right near Quills and Sofas. Apple cider donuts, fresh apple butter, and apple juice. It's always a family adventure at Sweet Apple Acres.
Would you look at them fancy duds you can get from our friends at WeLoveFine.com? Shoot! Hats, bags, and posters too? They got everything you could ever want. Except apples, of course. So mosey on down to WeLoveFine.com and rustle you up some Sweet Apple Acres Sunday best. Yee-haw!
And welcome back, everybody. And that is Sweet Apple Acres down there in Ponyville, just southwest, short trot, away from Ponyville. So you go there for all your applesauce, apple juice, apple cider, apple this, and apple that. Because that's all they do is apple stuff. And all you humans, get all your pony needs from WeLoveFine.com. And that's WeLoveFine.com. If you use EFR10 in the code, you'll get 10% off your entire order over at WeLoveFine.com. And we're back with Michael and Lawrence, the people behind your BronyCon documentary. Let's see if I have any questions on my list that I missed. Oh, hey, this is a huge project. So, what's your plan of attack? Are you going to be doing? I know you've probably already done the interviews with the major players, John, Tara, and Lauren. But are you going to be doing the filming at the cons before you do anything else, or are you going to be trying to get something done before you go to the con?
It's really a combination of both things. Remember, we've raised $208,000, but we literally don't have a penny yet.
Mm-hmm.
So,
right.
The funding finishes here on the 10th of June.
Mm-hmm.
The Kickstarter campaign.
Right.
Which, by the way, we've raised $430 since we've been on the air.
Woohoo!
And once the funding is done, it takes about 14 days to transfer the funds.
Okay.
So we are, starting to work on our own cash and do as much as we can, and then obviously kind of the bulk of it will be, when the money comes in, because there are tickets to buy and hotel rooms to book. And crews to pay for, and audio people and editors, equipment, and all kinds of stuff.
All kinds of stuff. Absolutely. That's why I was trying to figure out if you guys were actually working on anything yet locally to try and get as much done as possible.
So the answer is yes, we are working, but trying to do the things that don't require a lot of cash right now.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Hey, how's this thing going to get distributed? I mean, I know there's distribution channels for films. And are you guys going to be taking this to a bunch of the awards, film award place like a Canes or any of that?
Well, I'll let Laurent talk about the film awards, and then I'll tell you a little about distribution.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, once the thing is done, I mean, that's my whole idea behind the film is I want to make it so, the Bronies are proud to be involved with it, and they feel like it represents them and who they are, and they're able to get out their message. And at the same time, I want to open it up and be accessible, so an outsider looking in will be fascinated. What is this? And then we'll take them along this journey and teach them about who Bronies are and what they do, and why there's this negative stigma. And I want to do it in such a way that it is open to festivals. Like, basically that means that they're festival friendly, and they can bring audiences in, and they can feel assured that the audience will be able to will be accessible to an audience. Which, for example, like on YouTube, there's a lot of great stuff up there, but it's like, how accessible is it to somebody outside of the Brony community? Right. That's the challenge, is taking all that and translating it in a way so when we get to the middle of the second act, the audience is on board with you. When they're done watching that film, they can go on YouTube and be like, wow, this is amazing. I get it now. So that said, we once it's done, then we start. There are literally like 200 documentary film festivals.
Oh wow!
You just go on the circuit and you just start submitting. You send them press packets. And, let them know why. You got to also, you have to let the festivals know why this is important, because there are a lot of documentaries out there, and there's a lot of people that people want to make films and they want their films to be in festivals, but it's like, are they relevant? What the festival's going to know? How's this going to impact an audience? And does this have is there some sort of social cause behind this? And and some cultural relevance, which this completely does. So, and they love films that tie into communities. AK they would consider them built-in audiences. Because it's much bigger than Mike and I and John and Lauren. I mean, we're really just such a small part of this thing. We're just facilitating this pipeline that will touch the world. So That said, yeah, we're gonna submit to the the whole circuit, and you just you go through and pressure them, and get them to accept the film, hopefully, and then just go from one step at a time from there. And,
cool.
And people use that on and on and on.
Mm-hmm.
Part of the thing is, we obviously want to get this out to the mass public, but we also feel a responsibility to the people that have helped make this possible. So our first priority is to get it to them and get those digital downloads and get the DVDs or the Blu-ray discs out once we're done, and we'll figure out a broader distribution plans kind of as we go along. It's something we're still there's a number of ways to go with this kind of thing. You can distribute it yourself, you can go through larger distributors, and they're all things that we're kind of looking at and weighing, and by the time we're done, we'll know which way we're going to go.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Cool. Hey, Screwy, are you here? Screwball.
Yep.
I see his icon up there.
There he is.
Hey, look, Laurent. Yaplap is in the chat. Yaplap got me in trouble the other day.
Uh-oh. How did he do
yeah,
that?
he got us almost kicked out of a restaurant.
What?
We were in a restaurant, and I was showing one of his YouTube videos to Laurent, and the sound was up.
And he started screaming?
Yeah, and people were not exactly happy that we had the screaming phone.
Well, it's kind of my fault. I mean, we met him in line. We met him in line at on Melrose there, and Mike's like, "Here, I got his videos." I kept going, "I want to see his videos." She's like, "I got it right here," and I'm like, and so we got it. We were playing it in this restaurant, and he handed me his iPhone, and the thing was like on full blast. And it was just great. We were like scrambling for the thing, and he's just like, ah! He's like screaming. I'm like, this is hilarious. What is this? This is great. Mike's like, turn it down, turn it down. I'm like, I don't know where the button is. And then the guy started screaming at Mike. Like, I thought it was physical. And meanwhile, the waitress is laughing, and I don't have an iPhone, right? So I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh,
it just turned into like
that's
15 minutes
funny.
of pure chaos. And meanwhile,
it's hilarious.
He's yelling in the background. The video just keeps going, right? It doesn't turn off. It's screaming and yelling, and it was just, it was like a cartoon.
He's my boy.
It should have been a big dust ball around us.
Yap's my boy. Yap's my boy. I've known him for a while. I know him. He actually did this nice cardboard cutout of my OC, which I'm showing on camera right now.
Oh.
Yep, he's been doing this cardboard cutouts to make money to go to BronyCon. So, everybody out there, if you want one of these cute little cardboard cutouts, very cheap. He wants $5, but I highly suggest you send him 10. For these, he'll do up your OC in a nice little cardboard cutout for you and mail it to you. So check that out. If he's in the chat him up, and he'll probably do it for you. That's cool. Hey, Screwy, time for questions. Yep. Time for questions.
Yes.
Let's hit some questions, buddy.
As soon as people start sending.
Oh, come on, people. You haven't sent questions yet?
Oh, here we go. Okay, this one's from Petty Doto, if I said that right. No, Perry Doto, sorry. Question is, what about John, Lauren, and Tara? Are they coming to any of the European cons?
The answer is, if we meet our goals, yes. However, the scheduling has to be worked out, because if you notice, for instance, I think the Northwest event, I think it is Tara's scheduled already to appear then.
Yes.
So they're going to have to do a little kind of shifto, changeo. I think John has something else he's scheduled for, but we're working on that. And the answer is yes, but we don't know exactly what the schedule's yet.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Next.
Oh, sure. Oh my God, there's so many damn people. I'm just reading through them right now. I'm trying to keep up as best I can, and here we go. HMAX helping me now. Thank God. One is from Gavin. Question for all. What was your thoughts of MLP before Lauren Foss had made it Friendship is Magic?
For me?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Sorry. What was your thoughts of My Little Pony before Lauren Faust had made Friendship is Magic?
You want me to take that, Mike?
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, I remember it as a kid, and it was, I mean, it was something little girls watched. It really didn't have any resonance. I mean, I just saw it, and I saw the doll, and I just, it was something that was there, but it wasn't, I don't know, it was just not, I didn't care. I wasn't interested. But it was just blah. I mean, we had a letter from somebody that said this girl that thought that she found them to be kind of disturbing and creepy, the old ones, and not for me,
version 3.5. Yeah, they were creepy.
Right. I mean, obviously, I wasn't the demographic, and I didn't, I'd rather be riding my bicycle, going over jumps and stuff.
I was the same.
Yeah. I mean, I was out tooling around on my bike, but yeah, all the girls were into it. But no. I mean, it just, it's I don't. It was kind of wah wah.
Wah, wah.
Yeah.
Next.
This one's from Brony's Pegasus. Question is, what was your original reaction to the discovery of the Bronies?
Mine?
Yeah.
I was floored. I was like, I mean,
was I the one that told you, Laurent?
Yeah, I mean, I think I saw it, but I didn't really know what it was. Like, I think I'd seen some T-shirts or some video stuff, but I didn't really cue into it because I just wasn't really. I didn't really understand what it was. I mean, I was definitely like, I don't know, I don't get it. And then Mike started talking about it, and I was like, wait a minute, this is amazing. And then I got on there, and of course, one of the first things that you see when you're searching is that stupid Fox thing that pops up. And it was just like, this is insane. And I was like, if they're bashing it, this has got to be incredible. It's got to be awesome. So, and then from then on, it was like I was down the rabbit hole of all the fan videos. I mean, it's just endless. I mean, next thing I know, it's 3 a.m. I'm like, this is amazing. And I still haven't. I've only watched 2 episodes of the show.
Oh no!
It's just like, you have
really
a lot catching up to do.
Oh my goodness!
Now I'm waiting for the second season. But it was like right at the beginning, I watched a couple episodes, and then I got on YouTube, and I was just like, that was like equally amazing to me as the fan videos. So, I mean, now it's all coming into perspective. But I mean, that was just like the first 2 days was just like, oh my god, this is really this. I mean, what's so cool is that the show is a star, and all the viewers are stars too. It's like nothing I've experienced before. And and the community embraces your creativity as well as the show's creativity. It's this, I don't know, it's amazing. I've never seen anything like it.
Yep. Cool. I'm gonna take this question. I'm gonna take this question that just popped up. Okay, this is the question everybody asks on every interview because the viewers want to know.
Oh no.
The viewers want to know. Do you guys know enough about the show to have a favorite pony? I
do. Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm a little bit of Twilight Sparkle, but I think I'm more of a Rainbow Dash.
Mm-hmm.
Tara is like not happy with that answer, but I'm sorry. I love Twilight Sparkle, but I'm just too much. I'm too kind of like go out there and make it happen. I love the adventure. I love the.
I saw that when I saw your picture in the hair. Your hair. It's like, oh, that's a Rainbow Dash right there. He's a Rainbow Dash.
I definitely am. I mean, it's like, where else would I mean, I want to be sleeping on a cloud. I want to be flying up above everything, I want to move at the speed of sound.
Absolutely. How about you, Mike?
I am more of a, I like the Twilight Sparkle character.
Mm-hmm.
But, I'm kind of new to this. I'm still getting into it. I don't know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I also like Spike the Dragon.
Yeah, that's what you said last time.
Spike is cool. Spike is cool because he's sort of like the producer's assistant. Twilight being the producer, and Spike does all the producer's assistant stuff where he writes everything down, sends all the messages, takes everything back, tells Twilight what she needs to do, takes care of all the checklists.
I think he likes Spike because, like, in a moment of crisis, he can disappear and hide. No, I'm just kidding.
Go ahead, Screwy. What's next?
Oh, let's see. I'm scrolling up a little bit. This one's from my friend Hot Coco. Question: if you were ponies, what would your cutie marks be?
Ooh.
Oh, I already have a cutie mark by accident.
Uh-oh. This could be a good story.
Yeah, this is an interesting story. So this is a completely different show, but I was filming this this thing is called a sizzle reel, which is like a 3-minute presentation of a TV show that people do in LA to sell shows. And I was doing this one that was about this psychic who does these seances at these old haunted mansions in the Hollywood Hills.
Okay.
And this one was owned by Mary Astor and Charlie Chaplin, and supposedly some really funky, weird stuff went down there. Chaplin was, he had a reputation with young girls and blah, blah, blah. I don't really know what happened, but anyway, so we're in there and she's doing this seance and she's inviting in the spirits, and on cue, the windows blow open. Everyone's like, whoa. And it was like, I'm there filming it. So there's no trip wires or, and the next thing you know, like the other windows blow open and the record player turns on. And they she gets this Ouija board. She's talking to some angry spirit, and then everyone turns and looks at me and starts screaming. And I'm like, what's going on? And I realized that while I was filming, my shirt brushed by a candle, but like barely. It's a cotton shirt, and there were flames jumping off my shoulders. I mean, my whole shirt blazed. I mean, it was insane. Everyone is screaming, and it's like, I'm not going to drop my camera. I'm not like, what do I do, So I finally, I put this thing out, and the weirdest thing, it burned straight up the spine of right up my spine.
Wow.
And so of course, I'm a crazy filmmaker. I change shirts and keep filming.
Of course.
Because it
That's
just
what you
hurts
do.
so bad. What else could I do but focus on something else? And at the end of the night, this glass flies off the shelf, it smashes. But anyway, so I get home and I photograph the thing. I get my buddy to take a photo and I put it on Facebook. And it looks like a dragon with 2 fangs coming out of it.
Wow.
And it's right on my hip. It's perfectly I'm like, I have a dragon basically for a cutie mark.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It's bizarre. I mean, it's like, and also we're in the year of the dragon on top of it.
That's 20% cooler than any other filmmaker I know.
Yeah. I appreciate that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's my cutie mark. I guess it's I wish it was
That's
Rainbow
awesome.
Dash, but it's
that's awesome. Rainbow Dash should be saying that's cool.
It's a winged creature. Okay, it's a winged creature.
Damn
it's
straight.
a little spooky, but
Yeah. Well, you, Mike.
Guys are asking to see that picture now.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's what they were talking about. Oh, I don't. Oh, that's me in the chat room, not Lauren. So,
if I can find it.
let me do 5 questions real quick that I keep some coming up here.
Okay.
How did I get involved in the documentary project?
Yeah.
Basically, I was having dinner with John Delancie one night, and he said, hey, Mike, have you heard of My Little Pony? And I said, well, I guess. And he goes, do you know who the audience is? And I said, well, little girls. And he said, actually, you'd be wrong. And so we started talking about his role and kind of the fans and kind of the feedback and how it was unexpected. And I went away thinking about it and came to him a week or two later and said, hey, John, what if we do a documentary on these bronies and what they're all about and who they are? And he said, good idea, let's do that. So that's how I got involved. And I brought Laurent in because Laurent's somebody I've worked with in the past and really trust and know, and I think people are going to really like his work. Somebody else is asking, that the documentary looks very different from some of the recent things that I've done. Yes, I have done reality TV recently, and I'm actually very proud of everything that I've done. And yes, this is different, but I have done very serious documentaries in the past. I've done, UFO documentaries in the past, and I've done a little bit of everything, and that's really what I love doing. I love being able to dive in and learn something about a subject and really explore that. Somebody says, what are your expectations of the crowds at BronyCon? I think it's going to be huge and overwhelming, especially with John and Tara and Lauren and all the other actors that are going to be there. It's going to be huge. Someone's asking, do we regard ourselves as bronies? I would say that question is kind of unfair right now. We're just learning about who bronies are and what this is all about. And I think it's our job to be a little more objective right now. We certainly aren't going to harp on the negative, but it's part of what this documentary is all about, is figuring out who are bronies? What are kind of the ends of the universe here?
Mm-hmm.
And then lastly, one that I see here, any advice for the other documentary being produced by Saberspark and Paleo? And I will say the advice that I actually emailed Paleo, which was, your documentary, make it personal. It's something that we're doing kind of a bigger, larger scale thing that's going to involve a lot of people, but you're one person, one brony, and I think people will be interested in your personal story if you tell it with passion and tell it honestly.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Cool. Awesome. Screwy, I think we'll go with the next question.
Sure. This is a good one. I like this idea. This one's from Battlefield Bro from EQI. Question is, will you begin an epic trailer for the documentary?
I think we will, but right now our main focus is we have to produce the best thing that we can, and part of that has been diving in, reading hundreds of emails with people's stories, and we are reading every single one, and sitting down and really talking about what are the different areas of this fandom, what are the subjects that need to be covered in the doc, what things do we, do you include Rule 34,
Or do you say, no, we don't want to do that? You have to make all those decisions
right now. So the main thing that we're doing is figuring out what is the content going to be.
Yes. And they are reading all of them, people. I know this because I sent them one just before I went to bed about midnight a week ago. And I got up in the morning to check my email, and Mike had answered me at 12:36 a.m. I was like, so he's up late at night reading your emails.
Of waking up in the middle of the night, and then of course I just answer email.
Yeah. I was sort of flabbergasted. I got up in the morning, I was like, 12:36 a.m. I was like, okay.
Yeah, Mike sent me an email this morning at 4 a.m.
Wow.
And I was up to get it, which was weird. But yeah, I was like, But yeah, he's up, man. I never sleeps.
Next, Screwy, next.
Sir, sure. Sorry, I'm zoned out. Sax M13 question is, what do you say to people who see the doc as self-indulgent or ego? Oh God, why can't I speak today?
Egotistical.
Egotistical for bronies.
I think that's a good question. Actually, we'll get Lauren's response, but my response is that, it isn't, because we are new to this, and that's part of this, like, why I say it's not fair to say, are we bronies? It's a little not fair to go, oh, who's your favorite character? Because we're new to this. So regardless of the fact that the bronies, a lot of the bronies are funding it, you have people that are looking at this with an objective eye. So I don't think it is as indulgent as it might appear. Also, the fact is, because I can see somewhat where the funds are coming in on Kickstarter, there are a lot of non-bronies, just supporters of film, supporters of Kickstarter, who are contributing. So, while surely the vast majority is the community, the brony community, there's support from everyone.
Wow, cool. I wouldn't have thought that.
Yeah, I mean, self-indulgent, I kind of don't. I don't see that at all. I mean, it's, I feel like it's a chance to show the other side, because, we know so much negativity about them. I think it balances out the playing field, is what it does. It provides another perspective and an honest insight that you're not going to get anywhere else.
Yeah, it would be nice to think that people like Fox News would do something honestly.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not their intention. I mean,
their intention is to sell ad rates.
Yeah, and they'll demonize anybody they want. I
Absolutely.
mean, it's just cruel. I mean, I feel like when I watch these guys, these manly guys, I mean, yeah, as they are, but they're kind of mean-spirited jocks, and it's like, it's just cruel. It's like they pick on an easy target, and it's, it's just, I don't know. It just leaves a sour taste in my mouth. It's like, you're gonna, like, even when they went down to one of the BronyCons, and it's just like they're finishing people's sentences and putting stupid words in people's mouths, and it's like, yeah, that's awesome, dude. That's really cool. Yeah. These guys. I mean, I find that the general brony population to be far more intelligent than these pundits. I mean, it is the irony of the whole thing, It's like these guys aren't that, witty and smart, but they're picking on people more intelligent than themselves very often.
Very often.
So I mean, I don't think it's self-indulgent. I feel like this is an honest. I think if something is from the heart, I don't think it's self-indulgent. That's just my personal artistic opinion. I think things are self-indulgent if you're glorifying yourself, and you're basically, shooting every angle from your best side, and showing, this is what I do well, as opposed to what, the theme of the show is like every character in the show, for instance, has its glorious side, right?
Yep.
Its ego and the things that each character does really well. And it also has, its darker side, that, the stumbling blocks, its misbehavior, the lessons that it needs to learn to evolve.
Correct.
And obviously, if we were evolved, we probably wouldn't be on this planet. So we're all learning lessons in life. And I think if you're willing to be open and honest with an audience and reveal warts and all, and show people who you are, what you love and what that means to you, no, that's not self-indulgent. I think that's generous.
Yep. Next.
This one's a combine of two questions. First part is from Shadow Forte. Hope I said that right. The question is, have you seen any of the fan content such as art, music, podcasts, etc.? And what do you think of them? And if it's for music, for like Brony music, what's your favorite artist?
I did answer there in the chat room that, we're certainly looking at everything and we're getting exposed to everything right now. But I'm a big fan of the Living Tombstone. I'm a fan of
Like the microphone.
Yeah, Pinkie Pie Swear. There's some fun stuff out there, and we're just at this point getting exposed to it all. And some of the artists are amazing. And speaking of which, for the artists out there, we are about to run a contest.
Absolutely.
And, the winner of the contest is going to get $500 plus a meet and greet with John and Tara and Lauren, and probably the best part is their art will be reproduced in the limited edition that's going to go to our to the contributors of the documentary.
Absolutely.
So,
Pixel Kitties, if you're watching, I want you in that.
If you go to our Kickstarter campaign and look in the updates, you'll find a link to the prizes.org contest, which will be up and running soon. Prizes is a little behind. I don't know what's taking them so long to let the contest start, but it'll be soon.
Cool. Yep.
All right, I'm sending my cutie mark out here to everybody.
Uh-oh.
I'm scared. Here it goes.
Boom.
Oh, there it goes.
Boom. I'll have to catch that later. Somebody, Screwball.
Yep.
Make sure you take a copy of that, because I can't see it while I'm on live.
Yeah,
I sent one in the
I got
Skype
it right
chat
on your
too.
Facebook.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
it's a link.
I'll watch it.
see
I'll watch it. I'll check it out in a little bit.
Yay!
Somebody saw it, I believe. I don't know if anyone in here.
I saw it. That's pretty creepy and eerie, and like it gave me chills. Like, wow.
Cool. Is that wicked or what? I mean, because it was like I looked at that and I'm like, that's a dragon. But I was like, you know what? I mean, I don't want to imagine anything, so I put it on Facebook for people to comment. I mean, a couple of jackasses were like, yeah, it looks like a palm tree. But it's like most people are like, no, that's wicked creepy, and that does
creepy. That's awesome.
That does look like resemble like a snake or a serpent or a dragon. To me, it looks like a dragon.
Yeah. See that, people?
I see a dragon.
You come to my show and you get to see like body modification of artists.
Yeah, unwillingly.
Unwillingly, but there you go.
The unwilling cutie mark.
The unwilling cutie mark of the director of the BronyCon Documentary, right here on this show.
Brony community.
Do you want me to post the Facebook link, or do you got another
go
one?
ahead. I mean, that's the only photo that was the easiest way for me to send it, so
awesome.
Yeah, go ahead.
Here.
Cool.
I'll send it. La la la. They are all begging like
begging.
non-stop.
Oh, I want to see that.
I'm
I want to see
posting
that.
it. Damn it. There you go, guys.
Give him
Have
a
fun.
minute. Or Yaplap will yell at you. Give him a minute.
And now everyone's just going, oh, dude, that's amazing. Oh.
Next question, Screwy.
Okay. This one's from Daring. Question. Will you be using any fan-made music in the documentary?
I think there's definitely room for that. We haven't made the final decisions yet, but it is something we've talked about, and I've actually have a list. Laurent doesn't even know this, but I have a list going of all my favorite fan music. So
Awesome.
That is something that we may be doing.
I hope Mando Pony's on that list. If he isn't, he should be.
Who say that again? Who
Mando Pony.
Mando Pony?
Yes,
I'll have
Mando
to-
Pony.
Man.
If he's not on that list, put him there, because once you listen to his music...
Oh, I
he'll be-
have it. A long
Okay.
way from Equestria. I
Long way
like
from
that
Request.
song.
A lot of good stuff. That's probably
Yes.
one of his best songs. But he's probably got
Yeah.
3 albums worth of music out there. That's all awesome. Ponyphonic also.
Ponyphonic?
Ponyphonic. Check.
Oh, that's
I'll
great.
send you a link. Check him out.
Yeah,
When
great.
he did a really great song that evokes Lion King on Broadway.
Oh,
As,
awesome.
as soon as I heard it, I wanted Lion King. I wanted My Little Pony on Broadway with the costumes and the music and everything. And it was just from the one song, and it gives me chills every time I hear it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Ugh.
So, hey, you being up there in the Bay Area,
Yes.
in San Jose.
Yes.
I mean, like in San Francisco, obviously the DJ is king at so many of these clubs,
Mhm.
and a lot of my favorite DJs have come from up there. Is there do you know of a really strong Brony DJ that's up in the Bay Area?
Up in the Bay,
Yeah. 'Cause I know there has to be.
there is one here. He's fairly underground. He doesn't like to come out and poke his head out. I'll get you information on him. I don't want to say his name here right now.
He likes to go on. Yeah, there you go. That's the Bay Area for you.
Yeah, he's very, very good. Very good.
Yeah, I know.
He was one of the very
that's one of the
earliest DJs that came out doing Brony music. Got very hot, and then I haven't seen something from him in a while. I'm not sure if he's
Oh.
gone underground again, but I will try and get you his information after the
Yeah,
show.
that's the Bay Area. Wickedly talented.
Wickedly talented, and
They don't want too much exposure.
Yep.
Like, wait a minute.
yeah, it's like wow.
Come on.
Yeah, but yeah, DJ Alex S, also another really awesome person, and
DJ Alex.
DJ
I'm
Alex
sure
S.
Mike has all this on his list, but
Yep.
I'm constantly listening to
And
music all day. It's
D-Notive too. Grab some D-Notive. D.Notive. Look him up on YouTube. You're gonna love it. Okay, Screwy. Next question.
Sure. This one's from Wazza. Question for Mike and Laurent. That's his name. But do you guys have a? Oh, wait, no, that question was already asked. Damn,
It was.
I misread it. It was the favorite pony one. That one's been already asked.
We already been there.
Yeah.
Next.
Yeah. Sorry. From Applejack93. Question is: what are your expectations of the crowd that'll be there at BronyCon?
Lauren, you can take that because I said it once, but go ahead.
Oh, well, you're about to go.
Oh.
What do I go?
It's be
I mean,
huge. I don't know how
Yeah,
we're gonna
I mean, I
walk
expect-
around.
Yeah. Well, they did
Walk around.
say that at the rate they're going now, they are going to sell out.
Yeah.
They're going to sell 4,000 tickets. So
That's amazing. I mean, if there's 4,000 people, I
Yep.
expect it to be, pure chaos.
it's going to be pure chaos. It's going to be one of the largest, smaller fan conventions I've been to, and I've been to a
Yeah.
ton. I've been in many different fandoms, and short of going to a Comic-Con, which is like stupid huge.
Right.
A smaller fan convention is probably 4 to 5,000 people. It's going to be.
We're really just looking forward to the room parties. So,
Oh, by the way, you're both invited to mine.
Oh,
thank you.
Absolutely. The cider will be flowing Saturday night.
are you bringing your bike?
You know what? I'm not bringing my bike to New York. I might be riding my bike to Everfree Northwest. I haven't decided yet. Depends on if the airplane tickets are more than the gas.
I mean, that right there is a whole documentary. You could put a GoPro on the front of your bike and ride to New York.
Oh, I've got them. I got a GoPro.
I know. I've seen your videos.
Yep.
I'm a big fan of your stuff.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Yep. In fact, I got a race coming up Sunday. I'm going to GoPro Sunday. So.
Where's your race at?
It's in Livermore, so it's not that far away.
Livermore. Oh,
Yep.
wow.
Yep.
Right. Okay. Yeah,
So-
that's down the road from.
Yep.
That's where I'm from.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So we have a race in Livermore, and
How often do you have races?
because I work on Saturdays, I don't race as often as I used to. But
Right.
this race is on Sunday, so I have the day off, and I'll be going. I'm part of a group called the Over the Hill Gang, only guys 30 and over.
Okay.
So we don't kill each other.
Right.
So I normally race. I used to race like once or twice a month, but now that races are on Saturdays, I can only race about once every couple of months. So
Oh, right. So
But
do you have a Rainbow Dash?
Rainbow Dash's cutie marks are on the number plates on my bike. Yes, on the hips. Yeah.
Nice.
Yep. It's one of the first things I did.
Nice.
What kind of races are you guys like?
Motocross.
Flying in the air and stuff.
Motocross.
But are you guys like catching air? And,
Oh yeah. Heck yeah.
Oh yeah. Dude, you're ballsy, man.
Well, you know what? I'm only ballsy until I lawn dart myself, and then I hurt for a while, and I go do it again.
I'm just so in awe. Like, God, man, I mean, yeah, I'm like, as a kid, I'm an old BMXer. But, I mean, when you stick a motor on that, next thing you know, you're like 30 feet up in the air. It's like, you guys, man. I'm like,
it's like nothing. It's like nothing I've ever done before. I didn't actually get into motocross until I moved here to the West Coast. I grew up in Michigan, and we did ice racing. So basically, we would sheet metal up our tires and go ice racing. And then I got out here and did motocross, and I just love it. I just can't give it up. I've gone down a number of times and fixed the bike and get up and do it again. Just can't give it up. Awesome.
God, amazing. And you don't have any steel plates or anything?
Nope, I got a couple of blown shoulders, but that's it. Yep.
You are the manliest Brony, my friend.
So I'm told. Wait until I tell you my broken arm story.
Oh my!
Yep, my high school broken arm story.
I want to hear it. How about everyone else?
I don't know. Anybody want to hear that story? What about the chat?
Yes.
The chat want to hear that story?
Everyone's saying yes.
Okay,
Like
okay,
4
okay,
yeses, 5
okay.
yeses, 6, 7, 8.
Okay.
I'm gonna put yes too in there.
Okay, I'll give it the story.
Here, does that help?
Of course.
It's number 15.
Of course, I was a jock, so I played all the major sports.
Right.
And as a junior in high school, I was playing defensive end and starting place kicker on my high school team. I was a backup defensive end on the right side and starting place kicker. So we're at a scrimmage, 45 miles from home, and I come off the line, and the guard comes down to block me on a guard pole, and he catches me in the shoulder. The running back's going to go behind him. I see this, reach around with my left arm. I reach around the guard and grab the jersey of the running back. Now, everybody knows what leverage is, right? Yeah. So basically, it leveraged my forearm and broke it.
Oh my God!
Because I didn't let him go. I fell down on my side with my arm under me, and I can't see it.
Oh my God!
So my buddy comes around. I don't know anything's done, right? It's like I give him my other hand. I say, "Here, help me up." And he comes around and he just walks away like he's queasy. It's like, what? What's going on? He goes, "Don't move. You broke your arm." It's like, no, I didn't break my arm. If I broke my arm, I know I broke my arm. So I try to get up, and my coaches come out and they shove me to the ground and, "Don't move. You broke your arm." No, I didn't. Yes, you did. It's like, get me up. I can't see nothing. So he get me up just enough to where I see my arm right at the midpoint was bent in an S.
Oh!
Right? Oh. So my hand was about 5 inches taller than where it should be.
Oh.
So if I actually was trying to scratch my ear, I'd be on top of my head.
Oh.
So I go, okay, I've broken my arm. At this point, it's just numb, right? It doesn't, not pain, just numb. So the ambulance shows up, and they come out to the middle of the field. They put me on a stretcher. And all the guys are carrying me off the field because, of course, the stretcher can't go over the grass. And the biggest guy on the team, we call him Meat. He says, "Dusty, you weigh a freaking ton." And I said, "Meat, if we had you up here, we'd have to get a crane." And everybody almost dropped me because everyone's laughing so hard. So they take me to the IR, which is this little podunk IR in the middle of nowhere, right out in the country. And they cut my jersey off, take all my stuff off, take a bunch of X-rays, and this is 1985, right? So they don't go and pin things yet. They haven't even gotten that technology. So my coach takes my fingers and starts pulling on them.
Oh.
Well, the doc goes trying to put my arm in because both bones had been green twigged. They hadn't even broken off. So, and it goes pop. And he goes, "Okay, we're gonna take some X-rays." And I'm like chewing my tongue, trying to keep from screaming.
Oh.
So they take a bunch of X-rays, and he goes, "Nope, it's not in." And I looked at him incredulously. It's like, what? It's not in? He goes, "Nope, not in yet." Oh, great. So my coach, who happens to have graduated with my father, same high school, pulling on my fingers, and the doc does the same thing. Snap! And there's this ungodly snap, and I like lift off of the table like, "Ah!" But I don't scream. So he takes the X-rays and he goes, "Oh, that's about as close as we're gonna get." What's that mean? Is it in or not? He's like, "Well, it's in, yeah." So he wraps me with a fiberglass cast. It's like the first time he'd ever put a fiberglass cast on anybody. And by morning, we go home, I sleep. By morning, my fingers are purple. My parents rush me to the hospital. They saw it off, take x-rays, and they go, yeah, it's about as good as it's going to get, and they plaster cast me. So for the rest of the season, all I could do was wrap my arm to my body and kick footballs at practice. That was it. They got me in the last game of the season so I get my letter for the year. But it's like I could not play because I'd broken. That was my broken arm story. But to this day, okay, I'm going to show it on camera. Everybody knows how your hand can turn over, right? There's my right hand.
Yeah.
This is my left hand. It goes about 45 degrees. And that's it. They cannot turn over. Because my arm was never set correctly. But that is my broken arm story. Yeah.
Well,
did anybody eat dinner yet?
The guys asked for it, so they got it.
Anybody eat dinner yet? No? Okay.
Mike's typing away. You can just hear constant.
Yep.
"Ah!"
Okay, next question.
Okie dokie. Well, the guys asked for that, so they got quite the story.
Yeah, I'm still scoring. Because the other night that I saw somebody do that in a bar here in Venice Beach, and the guy was standing out on the curb, and his shoulder was all completely tweaked. And he was hammered, and he was having everyone pull his arm. And that guy was like, it was so bad that he ended up just running down the street, getting into a cab, and going to the hospital.
Wow.
But I mean, it was the most painful thing that. I mean, people were yanking it from every angle. Nobody knew what they were doing. He's like, you just got to pull it back into the socket.
Well, no, you got to pull off. You got to pull off a Die Hard. I mean, a Lethal Weapon, where you start hitting your arm,
beating his shoulder in the wall.
Oh, is that what you do? I should have told him.
You beat it in the wall so it'd go back in.
Oh yeah. No joke.
Cool. Next question, dude.
Okay.
Let's do it.
I'm so glad I haven't broken any bones yet.
These
horror stories. This one's from Rob Bob. Question: how did you and Mike get involved in this documentary project? I think that was told before. Yeah.
Yeah, that was told before.
Yeah.
Mike went to John, and then Mike went to Lauren, and got the whole crew together.
There you have it.
Yep. Next.
Yeah, there you have it. This is from Chaotic Harmony. Yes. About time you got a question in here. Favorite song from the entire show so far, but the truth is you guys have only seen like a few episodes.
No, I've seen Winter Wrap Up.
Ooh, yes.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, no, I've seen a lot of covers too, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I would say Winter Wrap Up.
Yeah, Winter Wrap Up's huge. Next day, this day aria. If you haven't seen the second season finale yet.
I think the first time I heard Winter Wrap Up, I think Yip Yap's friend in line was singing it on Melrose.
Uh-huh.
That was the first time I heard it, and I was like, "That's amazing." That was like, I just watched the first 2 episodes and I hadn't heard it yet. And I'm like, "That's in the show? Where is that in the show?"
That's awesome.
Well, wait till you see all the other.
Wait till you see, wait till you see the rest of them. Daniel Ingram does. He's like doing Sondheim for a cartoon. Really?
I heard a grunge version about an hour ago.
Yeah, the grunge version's awesome.
Radio.
Yep, the grunge version's awesome.
Yeah, it was cool.
There's a guy who did a ska version, which is also awesome.
Oh, I think I heard that one.
Oh, that one is rocking.
Yeah.
Wow, I love ska. That thing rocks.
Ska's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, there's some amazing. Sometimes you hear something, you're just like, wow, that's.
You never thought it could go in that direction.
Yeah, but then you're like, wow, what an interesting idea to sort of mash up these 2 sounds together, and you're just like, wow, that's so cool.
Next, Screwy.
Oh, this one's from Sunny Storm. Question for you guys: do you regard yourselves as bronies yet?
I'm trying not to become a brony yet because I'm going to lose all objectivity.
Yep.
But I'm definitely. I would say I'm at the point now where I'm a fan. So I
agree.
Yes.
Okay, but Laurent, you can't become a brony. You have to have a little
objectivity.
I do. You know.
You gotta wait a year.
You
have to do this film for a year, and then you can let loose.
But Laurent's girlfriend has definitely become a brony.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, she's a brony. She was a brony within a week. And she's like, I'm not a pegasus, I'm a brony.
Awesome.
So I'm like, what's wrong with pegasus? And she's like, nah, it's not as cool sounding as brony.
That's true.
Fine.
Well, then it pigeonholes you into being a pegasus too. So.
Oh yeah.
Next.
Just A-Track has ran out of questions for me to pick, so I'm going through the chat as quick as I can. This one's for you, Dusty.
Ooh.
Question: what MLP toy would you like to see Hasbro make?
Ooh, that's tricky. We just heard that Lego poo-pooed the My Little Pony Lego project, and we knew that was going to come because they are actually they can't do that, can't get the license because Hasbro actually makes a Lego toy line style product. So that was actually poo-pooed, even after having all that support, which is sad. I would love to see that. I would love to see some Lego, because I'm a builder guy. I like to work with my hands. I would like to see show-accurate stuffed animals, like White Dove makes. Better than the stuff they've come out with so far that looks like, Twilight Sparkle went through radiation therapy. Sorry, Hasbro, but I gotta say that. They don't look anything like they should. So I'm really hoping for show-accurate stuffed animals, because I'd have them. I'd buy them. I'm a 44-year-old man, and I'd have one. Got something about it. So,
nice.
Yeah. That's really what I'd like to see. I mean, everything they've been doing is great. I mean, they're doing brushables for pretty much our fandom. I mean, they're doing Zecora, and they're doing DJ Pone 3, and they're doing, Luna, and they're doing, stuff that we've asked for. They're doing Lyra Heartstrings. They're doing Trixie. So I really love what they're doing right now. They are reacting as fast as they possibly can from a huge corporation standpoint that has to do molds and has to do, has to take a product from nothing to the shelf. It's a 6-month lead time minimum to do that. Having done production before, I know that. So they're doing it as fast as possible, and I applaud them for it. But I really would have loved to see that Lego go through. You know what? Now, it just hit me. Hasbro needs to do a license to Build-A-Bear Workshop. So you can go down to Build-A-Bear Workshop and make your own Twilight Sparkle. I can see it now. The line would be out the door and around the building.
It would be. I agree with that.
Absolutely. Hasbro, get on that. Build-A-Bear Workshop. Then you don't even have to make. The kids can stuff it themselves, put a little heart in it, and dance around and just love it. And because you can do the main 6, you can do one every month or one every. Yeah, you get a 6-month program. Done. See, I'm brilliant like that. I come up with these ideas. Nobody pays me for it. Nobody pays me for it. No.
Not yet, right?
Not yet. Next.
This one's from Rob Bob. He messaged me through Skype. Question is this their first time going to a convention like this? And what are you expecting to see at the convention?
I don't. It's the first time. Well, we kind of snuck into the an LA pony event just to we wanted to see who were the fans and what was this all about. But I've been with John Delancie to a Trek convention before, and I don't expect it's going to be much different. Fans of a show, they're going to have questions. They're going to enjoy meeting the celebrities, and I think all that's pretty similar.
It'll be more colorful, perhaps.
Quite more colorful. I mean, Star Trek only had like 3 different colors of uniform. That's it. Gold, red, and plaid. No, it was gray.
I think the cosplay is going to be really cool.
Oh, the cosplay is going to be huge. Cosplay is going to be huge. Huge. I'm too manly to do cosplay. There's only one character I could do, and that was Big Mac, and he doesn't have a mustache. So I could do Ace Pony. I can see it now. I'll have a tennis racket and a headband. And I'll just walk around and say, yeah, I'm Ace. That's it. Next.
Just read through comments. Oh my god. Some of the things people say. 1 sec, I'm looking for it. Here we go. This one's from Hot Cocoa. Of the episodes you guys seen, what is your favorite scene / moment so far?
I've only seen a few episodes at this point. We've been really concentrating, and Laurent has certainly seen more, but what we are concentrating is not necessarily about the show. It's about the bronies. It's about the fans. We want to know, who are the bronies? Why are they fans of the show? What is it about the show that attracts them? Why is a show that people think should be geared towards, younger children. Why is this fan base attracted to it? We want to know everything about the bronies that we can, because it's the kind of question, if I tell, some friend, and initially it was kind of same with me. If I say, hey, there's this thing that's called bronies, they're fans of My Little Pony, and people are just a little dumbfounded, like, huh? Like, what? Why? And those are the questions we want to answer for ourselves and for people who don't know about bronies and My Little Pony. Mm-hmm. But also the funny thing is, as I got into this and started talking to bronies themselves, I think a lot of bronies had trouble answering kind of very clearly why they were fans. They couldn't explain it. They just are. And so I think that's something also, it's going to be interesting for the viewers who are bronies to see kind of what this has done for other people and why other people are fans.
Mm-hmm. I keep getting people asking me, how do I come out as a brony? And it's like, you don't come out as anything, okay? You just are. I mean, if you're a fan, you're a fan. You don't have to come out as anything. It sort of gives it a bad connotation that only gay people like a show, or you have to come out of the closet or come out of the corral, or as it were. I mean, you're just a brony. You're just a fan of a show. I mean, there's no needing to come out of a closet. Just be yourself and love the show for what it is. And if you do, all the much, just be true to yourself and say, I love a show because I love a show. I don't have to put a label on it. I mean, we call ourselves bronies, but you don't have to call yourself anything. You're just a fan of a show.
You think it's a life-defining moment when you finally... Oh, wait, I'm watching your video talk. This is so weird. You're like... I'm like 10 seconds ahead of you. I mean, do you feel like it was a life-defining moment when you finally discovered that you were a brony?
For me? No.
Yeah.
No. I've been many things over my life. I mean, I'm a fan of My Little Pony. It's labeled as being a brony. This is what I do for fun. I've done this in different fandoms for many years, and this one happens to be the most fun I've had in a long time. And I just happen to continue doing it because it's fun. I like the show. I like a lot of different shows. I like a lot of different animations. I like motorcycles. I like, I don't call myself I do call myself a gearhead because I'm a mechanic. But, I like it. It's not a life-defining moment becoming a brony or becoming the manliest brony in the world and having, all these people look up to me. I appreciate it, but I'm just me doing what I do. And I try to give people a little bit of insight as to how you cannot make the same mistakes I made as a kid. And have some fun with it. So I've never had like really a quote unquote life defining moment until I sort of like graduated Motorcycle Mechanics Institute and said, yeah, this is what I want to do for a living. So that would probably be the life defining moment, is that, I really can be a motorcycle mechanic. I'm good at it. And, that's probably what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. But just being a fan of a show, I wouldn't call it a life defining moment.
Okay, fair enough. I hear some mad typing going on.
Yeah. Mike is on it, man.
Mike's
going nuts.
I'm trying to answer as many questions as I can.
You go right ahead, Mike.
This one's from Beetle Cutie Brony. Question is, has there ever been any footage shot yet, like beforehand? Or have you guys been around to something like that yet?
Have we started filming yet?
Yeah, that's the question.
Yeah, like have you
we haven't actually
done any pre-stuff?
Yeah, no, we're probably going to start filming this week.
Ah, cool.
But as Mike pointed out, I mean, we don't even have a budget yet. So
the Kickstarter has to end so they can get the money. Once the Kickstarter ends and they get the cash, then they can actually get equipment and people and audio people and rent the equipment and do all of that. So yeah, basically planning stages. Basically, they're doing planning stages.
Right. But it's going to be, we have to ramp up because, basically it funds a couple days before BronyCon. So we're ramping up now. Yeah. But yeah, it's a challenge. Yeah,
absolutely.
We're just out of pocket at this point. I mean, it's all theoretical until it actually funds.
Yep. Cool. Next.
This one's from Giovanno. Hope I said that name right. This question is. How would you guys explain bronyism to someone who has never watched the show?
Well,
It's funny because I kind of do what initially was said to me. Do you, have you heard of My Little Pony? Do you know who the fans are? And you let them go, well, little girls. And then they're like, no, actually, you'd be wrong. It also includes, and then you just say it also includes, 20s plus, average 20-year-old males, and could actually range all the way up to probably their 50s or more. And then you get kind of the shock reaction, and you go, but they're not gay, or at least the majority of them, and no, they're not pervs, and no, they are true fans of the show. And I love seeing the reaction of people. So that's what I hope what we can do with the doc is be able to answer those questions. I did a show in my past called there was a TLC show called I Didn't Know I Was Pregnant, and I would get tons of people whenever I ran into somebody, they'd go, but how could these women not know they're pregnant? And it was the kind of thing, it was fun because we'd always go, well, you have to watch the show. It's true. They didn't know they were pregnant. Watch the show. And it's amazing. And I think it's kind of the same thing. Well, how can they be fans of My Little Pony if they're adult men?
Watch the show.
It'll be, here, watch the documentary.
Watch the documentary, because it'll tell you.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I've experienced the same
that'll
thing.
be the new answer.
I mean, when I tell people about the show, it's like, and it's fun. The people that responded the most to me, like, that were the most floored that I found out were women that were like 20 to like 27. They were like, I played with that when I was a kid, and they were like, what do you mean guys are into it? And I'm like, yeah, there's a, bronies, are totally into it. That's the target. That's who's actually responded to it the most, and they're just so fascinated. And it's like Mike says, people are like, are they this? Are they that? I mean, it's just like, it's sort of this like wild attempt to like pigeonhole them and say, well, they must be this or they must be that.
Yes.
But it's like, but once you get through that whole list of sort of ignorant assumptions, they're left floored, and they're basically like, I want to see this film.
Yeah, that's because of what society has driven into our heads since we were toddlers.
Yeah.
When a girl is born, she's wrapped in pink. When a boy is born, he's wrapped in blue. The minute they come out of the womb. And it's ingrained in the human psyche that girl stuff is girl stuff and boy stuff is boy stuff. And anytime it goes and starts melding into each other, the girls are called tomboys and the boys are called gay. And neither the tween shall meet. There's nothing in between it. And that's sad. It's sad as a society. I'll make that comment right now.
Yeah, so. I mean, I agree with you. It's just, life is just so boring when you want to categorize everything.
When you want to categorize everything, your life will be a bore. If you can't get out and try something just because it's girly, then I'm sorry for you, and your life is going to be a damn. No one's going to want to write a book about your life.
The only thing to me that's even really that girly in the show is the opening song. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm more of a pathetic guy. I don't know. But I mean, God, that's
you don't know how many people have said that. Almost every Brony musician I know is go, well, the only girly part of the show is the theme song. It's like, it's like
that to me is really the only, I'm sorry. I mean, Rainbow Dash isn't very girly to me.
Nope.
Applejack isn't very girly to me. I mean, They could be male characters.
In fact, in some dubs overseas, Rainbow Dash is a guy. Rainbow Dash is male, and I think it's Spain and Portugal.
Oh, really?
Yeah. When they redubbed into Spanish and in Portugal, I think they made Rainbow Dash a guy.
Hey, could someone mute the typing? I can't hear anything.
Yeah.
I don't know who's...
That's Mike.
Oh, is that Mike?
Mike's going type crazy.
I don't know why that you can hear it though.
Yeah.
If you click the mute, it's going through the microphone on there.
Okay, I don't know why you can hear it. It's weird.
It's weird.
I don't know. I have no idea, but I couldn't even hear what they were saying about something in Spain.
Well, what I was saying is that the Spanish dub and I think the Portugal dub has Rainbow Dash and Spitfire as guys.
They were guys.
Oh.
Yeah. They were complete
voice
male
actor guys. Voice actor male.
Wow.
Deep voice, everything. It was weird.
Yeah, I mean,
Really creepy.
it makes it makes sense.
Mhm.
It totally makes sense. But I mean, it definitely adds a weird sexuality to it. You know, those guys.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
it
weird.
definites makes the dynamics a little bit weird. And
Well,
I mean, I enjoy the asexuality of
it comes down to Lauren saying there's more than one way to be a girl.
Right.
You know, and in today's society, that's true. You know,
Right.
back in the 70s, back in the 60s, there wasn't that. You know,
Right.
but now in the 2000s, you know, there's way more ways to be anything. There's more ways to be a guy. There's more ways to be a girl. So, we're just seeing it on this end. I mean, how many male nurses were there in the 60s? Not many.
Yeah.
You know, now it's, you know, almost half and half. So it ends up being, you know, how many stewardesses were male in the 60s and 70s? Not many. Now every time I take a flight, there's at least one. It's times are changing. Times they are changing, as they used to say in the 60s. So I'm hoping that we keep going in this wonderful direction myself.
Yeah, I mean, do you think this is kind of a resurgence of the 60s?
I don't know. I wasn't there. I mean, I was born in 68, and so it sort of passed me by because I was too young to remember it.
But what you've heard about it.
But from what I've heard about it, you know, it could be. You know, it could be because now this generation that at least has its music, has its own music, has its own, you know, statements it's making about society in a whole. It could be. You know, I'm not smart enough to make that assumption.
I mean, it seems to me, you know, the philosophy of the 60s was, you know, this togetherness and being enlightened and not pigeonholing each other, and they were very creative and artistic. And I mean, obviously, I don't see the, you know, the drug use.
No,
you know,
thank God for that.
And the desire for drug use and, you know, the promiscuous sex and all that.
I see a lot of hookah smoking. That's what I see.
Right. But I mean, I do see, you know, a lot of, you know, intelligent people making serious decisions about how they want to live their life. You know, because I mean, this sets you on a course. I mean, especially if you're 20, 22, and this is, you know, what you're embracing now. It's like, well, you know, this could define the rest of your life.
It sets a
if
tone.
there's enough people doing it, you know, it's basically like, you know, the future president of the United States could very well be a brony, you know, and that could seriously change the shape and the direction of the country. And I think we'd be better off as a brony for president.
That's awesome.
Hey, here's an update since we've been on the air.
Yes.
$1,195 has been added to the Kickstarter campaign.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Awesome. Absolutely
Nice.
awesome. I think, Screwy, we are at our hour and a half point. I think we're going to take... I know, we're having fun, but the show's about over. So I think we'll take one more question.
Okay.
And then we'll roll out, okay? One more question. Make it good.
Now I got to choose out the two that I've been saving for a while. Okay, I'll just go for this one. It's pretty short and simple. Question from EFR Pony 6478. Question is, will the female side of the fandom get much recognition in the documentary?
Absolutely. Yes.
Good question.
Since I was short, can I ask the other one?
Go ahead. Go ahead. Ask the other one.
Yes, there we go. This one's from Cowboy Dave. Question is, now that you have a little more knowledge of bronies, how has your opinion in them changed since you first became aware of them?
I think let's save that for the documentary.
Yeah.
That's part of what you're going to learn in the documentary, and particularly through John Delancie's eyes, because when we met him, he just was finding out about what this whole brony thing was all about. He, you know, as far as he knew, he did a voice on a show. He didn't really know, and then he found out about this fandom, and he's still kind of learning about it. And it's a little bit about what this documentary is about. Is who the bronies are, and then kind of, you know, his perception and his learning who they are. So we'll save that. We'll save that to show you in the documentary.
Yep. Good place. Okay, cool. I want to thank you all for joining us tonight, and I want to call out the week's shows so that you all know what's coming up on Everfree Radio this week. Equestrian Inquirer, comedy and news straight from Ponyville, will be Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Then we go into Sketchy Sounds live songcast. That's a 2-hour live set with Sketchy, Thursdays, 11 a.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. The new show with Saberspark, Brony Breakdown, and Paleo. Saberspark and Paleo's new show, Brony Breakdown, Thursdays, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. And then we have the Luna Republic Takeover, where Nightmare Moon takes over this very radio station and plays your requests. So show up and tell the Princess of the Moon what you want to hear. And that's going to be Fridays, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. And don't ever forget Michelle Krieber's Saturday Night Songs right here on Everfree Radio. And that's going to be Saturdays, 4 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. Then we got State of Brony, which is our trance, electro, and house music show. Saturdays, 11 a.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. Radiant Eclipse Podcast. Now on Sundays, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. And I want to thank both Laurent and Michael for coming on tonight and talking to you, giving you an update on the project, on what's going on. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
Thank you a bunch.
Thank you, everybody. So,
Thanks, everyone.
Yep, I'm going to cue it up. I forgot to cue up the ending like I'm an idiot. Where'd it go? Oh, man, Dusty. You made one mistake this entire show, didn't you? You forgot to cue up the ending. And I want to thank everybody for showing up and come back next week when we're probably going to have another really cool episode because I got something planned. So you guys come back next week and we'll see you.
Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. We hate to leave you, but we'll be back soon. Good night, sweetheart. Good night. Good night, sweetheart. Good night.